What are we going to talk about now? Okay, you play the part of Brian. So now, yeah, if this show sucks, Kippelman, it's your fault. You play the part of Brian. What do you want to talk about today, Lou?
Oh, well, we could talk about what's been burning up the wires in terms of wrestling news in the past week. We've had one higher-up departure from World Wrestling Entertainment, and a crossover. One person of note joining WWE, like ships in the night.
Oh gosh!
So,
all right. So, and of course, for the people who have been living under a rock, about 3 months ago, they announced Jeff Jarrett back in the WWE. The only reason that I knew he wasn't there is not accidentally, we did it on purpose, but through nothing related to the WWE or anything of that nature, I spoke to Jeff on the phone back in the early part of the year, January, February, whatever. And because a lot of people had remembered him being there and didn't know he had left before, like a year and a half ago or whatever. So 3 months ago, they announced he's back. He's the senior vice president of live events, which means to me, he would be in charge of the promotion of their live events or the marketing of or whatever the fuck, or potentially even booking those lineups or whatever the case. He's an old-time promoter. He learned from his father. That's one thing he's been able to do, is put together live events. Okay, sounds like a good deal to me. 3 months later, he's out. What? And Road Dogg's back. And I like both these guys. I've never said anything bad about either one of them, and I'm not here, but I'm just the instability of what the fuck is going on, because Road Dogg was there until they fucking asked him to leave, I guess, sometime back, and then he's of late been mentioning on Twitter and social media that, hey, Tony Khan, I could help you with your program. He's trying to, because obviously he didn't think there was any imminent return to the WWE, because he was doing that like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So who is making these decisions? How far ahead of these decisions being made? And why does anybody want to take a fucking job with the WWE in that office when you last about as long as a goddamn stockbroker on Black Sunday?
Yeah, no kidding. And then, so the news about Road Dogg's rehiring at WWE was broken first by our friend Mike Johnson at PW Insider. And he noted that Jeff Jarrett was the executive vice president of live events, and he's out the door. Coming in, Brian James, whose official title is vice president of live events. So
he doesn't get to be an executive?
No, evidently not.
What difference is it? What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
welcome, Road Dogg. You're not in the C-suite, brother.
Can I do Sam Kinison? No, here, think about this last, what was it, 2 years ago now?
Mm-hmm.
Vince decided that Heyman and Bischoff would be the general managers or managing partners or whatever the terminology they used was, for Raw and SmackDown. And that's going to lead to the ratings going through the roof, because all the organization will be better, and love is in the air, and sunshine, lollipops, rainbows, and waterfalls. And then Bischoff's, they kicked him out within 2 months or whatever period of time. And he's like, oh, okay, and he'll go back home. And then Paul, obviously the thing about when Paul gets a job in the office up there, he doesn't even have to move. He lives fucking 25 minutes from Stamford. But Paul's out shortly thereafter, and Bruce, who had come in to replace Bischoff, then is just in charge of both shows, which was basically just another way for Vince to say, I just need somebody that will say the same shit that I'll say, because I don't have time to say it to everybody. And But then they, again, Jeff was there, then he's gone. Then they bring him back in an executive level position. And I mean, again, he didn't sell his house in Nashville and move up there full time, but there's an element of why the fuck do any of these people at their age, at various people's stage of, Bruce has had 2 heart attacks that I know of. It was several years ago. He's talked about it. I'm not reading his medical chart out in public.
Mm-hmm.
He wants that fucking stress and pressure and the goddamn feds investigating the goddamn company and all this turmoil and family battles. And here's a guy that's my age that's had a couple of heart attacks, that has been, like me, noted most of his life for being a little on the portly side. And he wants to put up with this shit. And I don't know if he moved from Texas back up there, but if you're working in that office, you have to have at least an apartment or a condominium.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that is, don't you? A condominium? That's birth control for midgets. But you've got to have some place to fucking rest your weary bones for 4 hours a night when you work for that company up there. So they're getting places to live. They're moving their possessions up there, and at least what you would need to live there part-time. They're rearranging their other lives and schedules. And then 3 months later, I'll see ya. Or it's the same thing they were doing to the developmental talent when they flew fucking or moved poor Taya Valkyrie down there to Florida. And then we changed our mind. Fuck you. And there ought to be, by God, there better be some type of minimum agreement in these job offers where if you have to engage in any fucking aggravation and upheaval in your life, we guarantee you, because we've asked you to do this, that unless you fuck up in some kind of way and end up naked and drunk out on East Main Street in Stamford against the light, you get a year or whatever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I gotta say, job security, not a big factor here.
Well, yeah,
in Titan Towers.
When people ask me, well, if they offered you a job, no. If they offered me a job, I still wouldn't take it, because even if it's a job I wanted, which there's not currently one of those available, because that would be none. But if there was a job I want, I'm not going to fucking go to Stamford for 6 weeks and then somebody, we changed our mind. Fuck, I'd be in prison after that. I would commit aggravated mayhem. It's why are you, if you're 30 years old or maybe 40 years old and you still want to do something or go somewhere or move up the corporate ladder or have a career in some branch of wrestling, then okay, take a shot.
Sure.
But these fucking old guys like me, fuck you. Get goddamn hobbies. Feed the deer.
Well, not everybody has the benefit of flora and fauna like you do on the castle grounds.
Well, I've been fawning over my flora, and I'll have you know that my floras are fawning back at me.
Oh, well, that's the magic of nature. Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So there you go. So, and I gotta say, and I know a lot of this is Vince brought Jeff back. Well, here's the thing. This is a ring around the rosy type of thing. Vince always liked the Jarretts. Jarrett and Road Dogg Jesse James Road Dogg started out as Jeff Jarrett's roadie, Double J, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Road Dogg ended up in DX, good friends with Triple H, and Triple H is now in the goddamn same position that Vince was in 3 months ago when he hired Jeff Jarrett. But apparently the only equation that's gone sideways in this is that Triple H don't like Jeff Jarrett as much as Vince McMahon did. So they didn't complete the circle jerk. I mean, the chain of the circle of trust there, I guess we should say.
Sure. Well, Jeff Jarrett now has a whole lot of free time. Seems to be in pretty good physical shape for 55 years old.
Oh, he's, that's, well, and honestly, I know Jeff Jarrett, he has no free time now. He's just going to go back and do something else he was doing. He's got and has had for the past couple of years an interest, ownership interest in a minor league ball team. He's been doing promotions with them.
Springfield, Illinois. Yeah.
He had called me about a completely unrelated project that, not goddamn spreading any rumors, not a wrestling promotion either, and not a job for me or anything like that. Just talking about a project that he was doing that I might be able to help him publicize. And but anyway, he has all kinds of shit going on. Jeff's always busy.
Right.
So that's not the issue. It's just jerking people around. I know the new guy's going to make changes, but when you've got a guy that obviously, would be able to do a fabulous job in that capacity, and he's only been there for 3 months, let's see what the fuck happens. And it's not just because it's Jeff, it's anybody else. The developmental talent that they bring in and then say, oh, sorry, never mind, after they may have turned down shit in their life or moved across the country. Or even even poor Eazy-E, old Eric B. I even felt almost sorry for his scrawny fucking ass having to be shipped back across the country to Wyoming or Montana or wherever the fuck it is out there with the caribou that he communes with after, that's what the fuck. And what, again, 60-year-old men allowing this shit to go on.
It's a funny business, at least from this layperson's perspective.